everybody. This is Kelsey and CJ of Live a Life with Play. And on the other line, across the world, we have Patrick. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Great seeing you again, guys.
good to see you too. Thanks for joining us. So,
Awesome.
we would love to hear, like we've heard a little bit when I first met you in Austin at the Marketing Mastery, but I would love to hear in your own words, like what was there a moment or was there a process to even look for another option outside of your job that you were in? Was there something that pushed you to look into and how you discovered SFM, or what was the experience for you?
And and with that, can you just take a minute and introduce who you are and say a little bit about what led you to that process?
Yeah, for sure. For those of you who haven't already seen me around the internet, obviously. Now, I'm Patrick. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden, originally, but obviously you can probably see behind me. I'm not in Stockholm, Sweden, in December. um, well, yeah, I started looking into alternatives to my job that I had. I was working in a store. We were renting out equipment for events, events, and sound and lights and all sorts of stuff. Doing a bit of audio engineer work also on the side. That was my last job, and that was I guess I started searching really for an alternative around January this year, 2018. And yeah, I was just kind of this. I would say I was kind of stressed out of boredom in a way at my job. I think it was a lot of like a lot of time to kill where I just was stuck in my job. I just had to go to the workplace, and even if there was no customers coming or even if there was nothing to do, I was just sitting there going, oh, this is wasting my time. And then weeks came when we had so much work where it was just like oof, all over me. It could be really stressful, and then it was really boring. So it was kind of a weird situation I was in. And at the same time I was working, I had a small recording studio where I was like recording my music, and I was doing that on the side of the job. And so I was basically working, I mean, 8 hours at the day job, and then it was like 5 hours, the rest of the day in my studio, just like on more of my passion then. But at some point I realized that I don't want to go to my day job anymore. It's not that fun to go there, and it's just taking up all of my time, but it's just nothing is really happening. I'm basically just stuck there to get an income, and since my sort of passion wasn't paying the bills, so I started searching online, and I came across a lot of things that was more or less good, so to say. Um, and it took me, but once I should also say that I was very into, at the time, I was very into like entrepreneurial stuff and personal development at the time. Definitely, I was like listening to hours on end of Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk and all the goods. Where I was basically Bob Proctor. I was basically just looking to better my life and to make like I would honestly say I was probably looking for more money at the time. I was like, if I could only like have more money, then I would have freedom. Then I wouldn't have to like sell away my time. And I had read, like so many others, I'd read the book The 4 Hour Work Week also by Tim Ferriss, and that I think that's somewhere obviously subconsciously in the back of my mind. I was thinking about that where he had built the online business, and it was like, I really want something like that. like if I could create like a passive income on the side, I could do whatever I want with my time, and that was what I was thinking. And but I was basically just hustling away, like they say that you should do. Like if you if you listen to all the entrepreneurs and stuff. But so I was really ready when SFM ads started popping up. I was extremely skeptical, but I mean, it probably took me like 5 or 6 or 7 times before I actually watched the ads, even though I kind of knew that it was something really, really valuable. And I signed up, and I didn't even watch the video series like until a month later when I had a bad day at work, and I was like, wow, I really need this. I need to get out of my job. So man, I basically watched it, and I could see as soon as I saw Stuart and Jay, I was like, these guys know what they're talking about, and it's 100% something that I'm interested in, definitely. But I'm still incredibly skeptical. But yeah.
Really wanting it to work, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know about this. But like, please work.
Yeah. Please be real. Be as good as you say that you are. And then obviously, like once, over time, I just, after meeting them and after going to all the events, it's just, you can't even describe like how much better it is. It's like yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I was very similar. I was skeptical until the first event that I went to, and I actually shook Stu's and Jay's hand. I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is real. Like, this is real. You know,
Yes.
I think 6 months to actually get to that point.
Yeah, you spoke a little bit like what what we talk about is like, what's your why? And I can get a sense that music is definitely a part of that. Do you have like, at that point, did you have a vision of what you wanted to move towards, or has that like evolved over time as you've gotten more into this work? What kind of life you want to be creating?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think when I signed up, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I thought it was going to be probably a little bit less work than it was. And I thought like, oh, if I could just like create an income on the side so I can be creatively free and do whatever I want. Like, but then obviously it takes more work and more effort than that. So, but it was also more fun to do it. So I kind of like put the music on the side for a while and just dove deep into it. And but my why is like, it's like that you gotta dig a little bit deeper, because first it was just like, okay, I want more money. But why do I want more money? Well, I want more freedom. Okay, but why do you want more freedom? Well, so I don't have to be stuck in a job. Okay, but why is that important? Well, I don't want to be bitter when I'm old. Okay, but why is that important? Yeah, because I want to be able to like show up as the best version of myself. Probably if I'm going to have children someday, I really want to like show up as the best version of myself and be happy, not be frustrated. And then I kind of realized that I'm like breaking the pattern of how I could definitely see how like my dad and my grandpa worked for 45 years, and they just worked really hard. And I mean, they good people, but they got like, I think the system kind of failed them in a way, because once they got to the pension age, it's just like they're frustrated and they're like torn down by all the work, and it's not like, almost like they can't even really enjoy it now, because they're like, they got so much baggage of hard work. And my grandpa especially was like in so much pain from when he was 65 to when he passed away. It was like, it's not, it wasn't all that amazing to watch that. And I kind of realized that I don't want to go down that same road, definitely not. And also if I'm, so I got also like, yeah, probably somewhere when I was a kid. It was probably like that dad coming home from, what's going on in there?
Oh, it's just a wax pouring all over the table from a candle on
Oh, yeah. Cut.
CJ's like trying to quit. But
No problem.
I want to keep listening to you. So
Yeah,
dive
no,
back in.
that was yeah, Colin, that's great.
Yeah. So it's some. I mean, I think probably when I was a kid, I remember my dad coming. I mean, he's like, we had a lot of fun during the weekends, and it's like, super cool. But I could always remember him like coming home grumpy over his job. And was like, fuck this job, I don't like this job, I'm so sick. But he still worked in like the job for like over 40 years. But it's like I could see how it like broke him down,
Yeah.
and how it kind of made him a little bit bitter and like that. And I just didn't want that. I just didn't want to become that kind of. I just didn't want to live that life. Once I knew that the alternative was out there, it was almost like, I'm gonna make this happen 100%. And obviously, I hadn't been traveling anything, not that much before. So I just felt like I need some adventure also, for sure, definitely.
Now he's living in Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think that is so spot on for so many people, that experience of not only like witnessing their parents, but that in like a job that they don't love, and like the pain of watching them, like their body physically being broken down and their mindset and like spirit being broken down, but also like recognizing, a lot of this self-transformation work is about self-responsibility, and like recognizing like, oh, if I don't want to end up there, I need to take charge of my life and take responsibility for what I want my life to look like. And that can be intimidating, when we have this model of one way of living, of like working 40 years in a job, and then you get your pension and then you retire, to like, think outside of the box. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I mean, this alternative, just because like the older generations obviously didn't really have that alternative. I mean, it was a lot harder if you wanted to retire earlier, or like if you wanted like an alternative, you had to, I don't know what you had to do back in those days. You had to get extremely rich or something. But now, I mean, the alternative is so open to anyone who's ready to do it, who's ready to do the work. And I mean, it's also incredible how quickly it can be achieved. Like we see in our community, people who has dedicated themselves, and they can quit their jobs within maybe 1.5 years or 2 years, or even quicker. But like, even if you could quit your job in 2 years and then have the freedom to do whatever you want, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And that option wasn't out there, but now it's kind of out there for anybody who has the right mindset and the right like determination to do it. And that's so incredible with the internet, what it can do.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely have so many resources to get creative about, being able to work anywhere in the world with a laptop and internet connection, and just reimagine what life looks like.
Yeah.
For you, I mean, you mentioned your dad. How has this process been with the people in your life? Like, have they taken to this idea easily, or has it been a process, or what has that experience been like?
Wow, yeah. I definitely sort of hide it from people in the beginning, or I wouldn't even say in the beginning. It was probably like way too long. I wasn't really, but first, for a couple of reasons. For the first reason is I didn't even know, is this gonna work, or is it like, what is this gonna be for me? So I didn't really want to, or I kind of said to people, I said to people I was studying. I said to them, I'm studying this thing online. And because I kind of was, because I didn't know if I'm going to make any money off of it. So I just kind of told them, I'm studying this thing. And but surprisingly, oh yeah, I wouldn't say anybody has been negative about it. I would have probably everyone I've talked to about it has been really positive, and they probably said like, well, I want to do that. But then because they haven't, or like most people say, oh, I want to do that, but then they kind of subconsciously straight away shut themselves down and think I can't do that. Right. Because they're like programmed, or because we're not used to that type of thing, I guess. Yeah. But everybody's been pretty supportive, and yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say you should be. I mean, you should just be open with it. I think it's kind of normal too. Now these days, it's getting so. Yeah, it's getting more and more out there. There's more and more people who are working online, and it's like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming the norm, this whole digital nomad. And I mean, even not the nomadic shit, but the working from your laptop people are waking up to it. It's becoming more and more common, you said. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of sharing with other people, for us, it's been a really interesting experience because especially both of our parents, they haven't been like really supportive and on board with it. I think because similar to what you're talking about, like they don't understand it and it's like outside of the norm. And then as parents, there's also like a fear of your child failing, getting hurt, whatever that parental desire to protect. And it's been an interesting experience to like another level of coming of age to like stand in it for ourselves, and at the risk of not being understood, just acknowledging like not everyone's going to fully understand, It's like a next level of confidence.
Yeah.
I love how you would tell people that you were studying, because that's how I refer to SFM. I mean, I say it's the higher education for the post century, right? I mean, to me that's exactly what SFM is. It's it's more of an education platform than anything else, because it teaches us how to have the mindset, how to have the skills, and how to navigate and be the person that you need to be in order to create the life that you are meant to have by doing something, with technology, and in a way that is heretofore unheard of. I mean, 20 years ago, this was impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say, probably even 15 years. It's with high-speed internet and stuff like that. It's almost kind of since then. Mm-hmm. So it's just in the beginning stages, really. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is studying. It kind of is studying, because, and I had, like, in March this year, I had absolutely 0.0 experience of how to even. I didn't even know you could legitimately work online. Like, I thought it was just like, oh, you could probably win the lottery, or you can like do something. So you could do investment or trading or whatever. You could like build some sort of business, but I had no clue that you could like legitimately work online, really. And I had no idea how to properly market yourself, or how to do anything of that. So it's definitely like it's definitely an education, and people, when you tell them it's an education, it's like, what are they going to say? Well, why are you studying? Or why are you doing that? So they can't really say. But if you kind of, it just depends on how you position yourself. If you go out there and say, I just started this online thing. I'm gonna be a millionaire in 6 months, and I'm gonna woohoo! I'm gonna live the perfect. I mean, just setting yourself up for getting beaten down. You know, you kind of have to like, you kind of have to like position yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
taking it a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Wise words right there.
Yeah. For you, what has been one of the biggest highlights of this experience since it sounds like January 2018?
Did you say what did you say? Highlights? No.
Yeah, what has been one of the highlights or triumphs or most positive experience with it?
Oh, the most positive. Well, there's been many. There's been many ups and downs, I must say. Oh my God. But I think the most positive was probably when I found it. When I first found it, it was like this flood of, or when I first joined, it was like this flood of inspiration and flood of like positivity. Once I started going through the modules and getting all the value from, and really getting to know Stuart and the team and everybody, that was it's just such I just love learning. So it's like when you really into something and you learn new stuff, it's like it's this positivity coming over you.
Yeah.
So that probably went on for a couple of months, but then I would say it faded away because I was probably on a high for 2 months or something, just doing it. But then that started fading away, and I was like, oh, okay, now it's time to get to work. And then I probably, it was hard. It was like, it's like I think I procrastinated a lot, and but I also think I was I think in the beginning I didn't procrastinate. I had like really strong determination, but somewhere along the line, I think, yeah, that determination kind of went away a little bit too. But then the real highlights I mean, I must say the events, the company events, like, and going to Toronto first and doing like the branding incubator. That was my first event, and I didn't really know what to expect, but that was just such an experience. It was wow. The people I met and how the company treated us, and just how friendly and familiar, and how high quality education, absolutely incredible. And then obviously we met a month later in Austin, Texas, and that was, yeah, it's the same thing. It's just meeting great people, getting so much good value, and obviously meeting up with Stuart, meeting Justin, Guy and Ilan, the coaches. Yeah, it's just like, it's such a fun experience, and it's learning, and it's so good. And yeah, and then a month later I was in London, and same thing there. It's just, it's been, that's definitely highlights. And then yeah, they also, they recognize you for when you've done good stuff, or when you've taken action. The company recognizes you for that. And I've been on their visionary call, and I've been like recognized in a newsletter. And I mean, they just like, they see you when you've done something good. It doesn't have to be much. You don't have to have $1 million to be recognized, but they really help you out on the journey when they see that you've done something good, or when they see you take action. And that's such a supportive environment. And yeah, but it's all gone so quickly. It's like I said, in March I was stuck in my job, and now it's December and I'm in Thailand. It's like, what? That's not even a year ago.
Yeah. Awesome. So, now that you dove into this work, do you have like a vision of a 5-year plan going forward in terms of what you want to create in your life?
I think at this point, probably 5. I mean, they say you should have a 5-year plan, but I think it's, if I look back and I see where I was 5 years ago, it's like, oh my god, I can't even believe what was I doing 5 years ago. It's insane. So I don't have a 5-year plan. I have some loose thoughts of where I want to be. Obviously, in 5 years I'll be 35, so I'll probably, if I traveled around the world the next 5 years or whatever, that'll probably be cool. But I mean, 35 is probably the time to start thinking family, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, if you're gonna be traditional and think in terms of age numbers, but that could, I don't know. It's just, but there's definitely there's some sort of bigger vision, obviously, when it comes to over a longer period of time. Like, first of all, I just want to help as many people as I possibly can in this business, like help other people start their business, and then I want to do something bigger for society and for people in general. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, but there's yeah, I think there's a lot of holes to fill in the world today, definitely. And yeah, just yeah,
Room for
it's hard.
improvement.
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you guys?
Long-term plan?
Yeah.
5-year plan.
Yeah. I guess a more appropriate way to pose the question, or to, like, I guess a vision is a good way of putting it, not necessarily a plan. But yeah, for us, similar, diving into this work and being able to be a resource and support for other people getting involved in this, and like awakening to this as a possibility for restructuring their life and doing something they love. And then taking this skill set, and we're already like in the brainstorm stage of couples coaching program. So being advocates for people having awesome, radical, communicative, honest relationships. And speaking from our 8.5 years together and the roller coaster of that experience, being able to provide value to people about what we found is like the foundation, like, tools and insight for us. And with that, we want to be traveling around the world too, both with like, well, we have a vision that like around this time next year, packing everything up and traveling, and that'll be taking like our SFM work with us, and then depending on where we're at with that, maybe transitioning more to our couples coaching work and traveling for a year or two, and then coming back to somewhere. We haven't quite figured out where, and planting roots and having a family.
Kids out.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds like a good plan. But I think that, I mean, the coaching stuff, you could obviously, you could do it on the side. You could have it. It's like a good thing to have on the side too. You should probably look into starting that. Yeah, as soon as you can. It's like a good source of, if you have the time, obviously. It's like good source of income, and you obviously will get, once you start, you'll get a lot better over time when you've done it like more and more times. So, but I think you'll do great with that, definitely.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, both of our hearts are like in that work, and so it's a matter of like not getting too diluted. Like, we could put part of our energy towards that and part of our energy towards SFM, or we could pour into SFM, like really get that down and then lead. It's I mean, there's no one right way to do it, so we're just like feeling out which is the wisest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It's like getting the SFM really up and running and being super focused on that. I think that's probably better to do first, and then could be messy to have two balls rolling at the same time. Could be.
Well, and most like entrepreneur coaches will say, pick the one thing,
Yes.
pick the one thing, and get that one thing good, and then move on to the
We're
next
like
one thing.
shiny object. We
Yeah,
want to do that.
versus me, I'm so like, oh, this, and the next thing you know, the table has a massage, but that's it.
Yeah. There's so much information out there. I think you just like, at the end of the day, it's like you have to follow your own kind of, you can always take inspiration from there's amazing resources out there, but if you're going to listen to what everybody else is saying and not like feeling your journey, and that's not going to work either. It's like you have to kind of feel your own way and see where it takes you. Definitely.
Yeah, that's such great advice. Yeah, the next question I was actually going to ask you, which I feel like you already answered. To someone who's just starting this journey, whether it's specifically SFM or digital entrepreneur work or entrepreneur in general, like what's one piece of advice you have for them?
Yeah. I mean, if you're just starting out, if let's say that you're starting out with SFM, there's a couple of things. There's probably, when you start, there's probably going to be a lot of like, going to be very positive, and you're going to have like all this energy, and you're going to feel, wow, this is going to change my life. And
it will.
And it will. That's amazing. But you also have to have like have a long-term plan for it. Definitely. It's like, it's not going to change your life in a week or two or even a couple of months. It's like you have to have a long, like take it down a little bit and know that it's a long-term thing. Like it takes time, and it takes effort, and the effort, like really go through the foundations, really go through the modules, the foundation modules. Do it twice, like know what you're doing, rather never ever rush anything. I would say, I think I went through the modules probably, if not 2 times, I've probably gone through them 4 times. I don't know. But when you're just starting, just learn as much as possible. First couple of months, I would say, first 2 months, is just learn as much as possible. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun learning that stuff. So first is just learn as much as possible, and then it's just the actions. You have to take action, and you have to be willing to do things that are uncomfortable, because when you learn something new, it's always going to be uncomfortable, but it's on the other side of the uncomfortable that you grow, and then you meet the next uncomfortable thing, and then you go through that. But it's very, very small. It's small steps. It's like that book that they recommend, The Slight Edge. And it's like, you have to do something. You get to do something every day, even if you're really busy and you work and you have kids. But if you can just get half an hour per day and do the things on the business that's going to take it forward, even if it took you like 3 years to get where you want to go, is it still worth it or not? You have to like ask yourself that. Is it still worth it? What's the alternative? What's the alternative really? What's the alternative really? Is it to work? Yeah, either you work in a 9-to-5 job, or you win the lottery or something, or you like do the SFM thing as focused as you possibly can, and you make it happen. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna get it, definitely.
Yeah, those are great words of wisdom. Yeah.
Thank you.
You want to go through the modules again?
And they've changed too. They've changed, and they change from time to time, and it's like, but it's also good. It's fun to listen to Stuart also.
No, his voice,
It's like,
right?
Well, those are all the questions that we have. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to share or speak about.
that's too broad of a question. Can you be more specific? It's like, you want to talk about anything else? Well, I could talk. Yeah, I could talk about that. I could talk about that. No, I don't know.
Did we ask you what your greatest challenge has been?
My greatest challenge. My greatest challenge. I mean, obviously, since I quit my job before I had like any massive results, obviously the money issue is has been the biggest challenge. And yeah, it's definitely been myself and my fears, my or like kind of the stress, I think, because when you work in a 9 to 5 job and we have a stable income, you know that it comes every month and you're not really stressed out about where the money comes from. But when you've transitioned into like entrepreneurial stuff, you don't really know when's the money going to come. And but then on the other hand, I've just had to learn how to trust the process, because no matter how bad I felt about it, I mean, and it's been bad at times, it's been like, wow, I'm like, how is this ever going to work out? But then again, it's all about that, yeah, getting present again and like trusting in the process. It's going to work out. But also, like Tony Robbins says, you can't just go to a problem and you can't go to a problem or the garden and chant like there's no weeds, there's no problems. You can't do that. You have to like face what's coming to you and then solve the problems. Or as I think it was Christian Beer who said, it's not problems, it's obstacles. And I like that.
Yeah, good.
It's like you have to you get to, it's small, it's about problem solving. It's about small and big problem solving. And so there's definitely been challenges, but and I could have probably eliminated most of the challenges if I would have stayed in a job, if I would have chosen that instead and just do it on the side of the job. It would have been so much of a easier ride. But that's not me. I'm not going to take the easy road. if I if I see that there's another way I can do it, then I'm go to Thailand instead. And yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's, like,
I bet there's some tropical fruit there.
yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I would have never done it if I didn't believe completely in myself, and I like there has to be that belief that I can absolutely do it, because I wouldn't have just thrown myself. It's not like I just threw myself out there and hoped for the best. No, it's I've planned, and I've like, yeah, it's planned in detail, like how it's going to happen. But then you'll never know exactly how it's going to happen anyways, but you have to have like a sustainable plan. And I would never ever recommend to anyone starting out just quitting their job and like doing that, because I'd done SFM for, I don't know if it was 6 or 7 months before quitting my job. And I didn't quit my job because I wanted to. I kind of came to a point in that job where it was unsustainable to stay there. I couldn't stay there anymore because of the people who worked there. And I'd seen, going to all the events, or I had gone to one event, I could see that the extremely positive energy I got from SFM, and then the extremely negative and toxic energy I got from my job. I just couldn't stay there. But if now we're speculating, but if I had to do it again, I would probably try and get as good paying a job as possible, and then just shove as much money as I could on the side into SFM, to transition more smoothly. And that's my advice to people. Definitely have an income on the side, have a 12-month plan, and then it'll happen. And we've seen it with so many people that it's definitely possible, and it can definitely happen.
Yeah. Solid. Well, I could just go on all day about how my experience was exactly like yours, but well, because we're interviewing you and not me. We've already talked about me on the videos.
Yeah. I'll have you on my channel next time, and yeah.
But
Well,
do you have a channel?
yeah. I don't have that much content on it now, but it might happen.
Yeah.
So it's called A Freedom Life.
Cool. Awesome. We're gonna subscribe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, right on, Patrick. Well, thank you so much for taking some time and this Wednesday morning coming up on Christmas and
Yeah.
Thailand. Awesome. Really
Yes.
your wise words and the time. And, I mean, hoping, wishing for your success and everyone else's success and all that goodness.
Yeah, thanks again for sharing so honestly about your journey, because not only for the people who watch our channel, but I just got so much value and reinvigorated insight into the importance of mostly about patience and trusting the process.
Yeah.
That's a message that sometimes I fully embody and sometimes I forget, and it's always good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a really tough day today because I didn't have patience and I wasn't trusting the process. I was like, but it needs to be this way now, and it was a rough day. I am not on my game right now, but you know, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, and yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been awesome getting to know you, and but like you said, it happens. But that's when we just have to form the habits of, or at least be conscious enough to know that it's like some days are just going to be completely horrible, and not let that experience take us down. Just be like, take some deep breaths, and move on from it, because it will definitely come. But as long as your why is strong enough, and as long as, like you said, Kelsey, the patience, it's just like, yeah, take small actions forward, and things will come up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, enjoy your sunny Wednesday.